How's it going, everybody? My name is Andrew Bateko with Tackle Queens of Kings, and today we are talking to Sam from Bushcraft and Prepping. So Sam, give us a rundown about your story.
All right. So my background, I grew up camping and hunting with family. Grew up in California. My family's from the Midwest and the South. So doing that from a kid all the way through high school. Spent 7 years in the Marine Corps. I was in the infantry. So got to go to schools like Bridgeport, which is a mountain warfare school, attending summer and winter packages. 29 Palms, back in the day, they used to have a short desert survival course. So living in California, took some of that interest and added to it while I was going off-roading, camping, target shooting out in the desert. Attended the jungle warfare school in Okinawa, Japan, and also training in Singapore, learning jungle warfare down there. And in addition to that, it sort of expanded and grew my interest in it. So along with camping, learned how to survive off the land, started getting into bushcraft as I had learned about it, combining sort of a military and old traditional skills with some of the modern stuff, just sort of combining them into one little package instead of sticking to one specific trait or one specific style. So yeah, it's definitely been a fun journey learning.
You have a lot of training under your belt. Like that. All right. So why did you make your page and what do you expect to get out of it?
Well, initially I started because my Facebook account was suspended. Yeah, I'm one of those guys that in and out of Facebook jail every once in a while, 30 days at a time. This one here was an extended one. And so initially it was one of those, hey, a girlfriend suggested I create one, share my experiences of camping, hiking, and I've shown her things like setting, or creating a fire, doing traps, snares, improvise things while I'm out in the field. Also getting pack lists going, depending on what kind of camping or hiking trip we're on. So it was suggested to share those experiences with other people. And for something that just started off as that, it initially didn't have a name for it, and then eventually, as I also had an interest in prepping, combined the two names. Bushcraft was sort of the hot button topic at the time with the outdoors community. Prepping, something I've been doing pretty much my whole life, coming from a farming family, and then also being raised in California with earthquakes, forest fires, and then now the other seasons, riots, and instability in the economy. I figured I would share that advice and that information with other people, based on the more realistic ideas of what can occur in their area. So with California, earthquakes, fires, potential of riots. Midwest, you have flooding, tornadoes. The South, you've got hurricanes. East Coast, you're looking at the potential of blizzards, nor'easters, things like that. So generally, if you are able to prepare for just about any scenario and you're well stocked, you're good to go. And so in just sharing that information, it took off and started growing, and suffered a back injury, shut the page down while recovering. And after I got better, went right back into it, started back up, and never had any idea that I'd be getting to where I'm at now and having companies reaching out to me. That was never initially my intent. It was sharing information and trying to help people.
Well, I'm happy you're back in the game and your back is doing a lot better. And I love what you're doing. I mean, it's the main thing of survival is training. You can't just say almost survive this, not know what to do. Has your
Exactly.
has your training videos ever helped anybody? Has
Yeah, I just started getting into doing videos. Honestly, I've never been great in front of a camera. Yeah, I even used to do music videos, TV shows, and some movies as a background extra or doing nonverbal acting. But then in front of a camera, it's a whole different scenario when you start talking and sharing the information compared to over the years taking a picture of something and trying to give a vivid explanation and answering questions as it goes along. So, in regards to that question, yeah, I've actually had people reach out to me. Uh, Someone here locally had helped set up a gear list for their daughter and their friends going on a hiking trip where they got stuck overnight. And initially, law enforcement didn't want to go look for them. They gave them the gear list that I provided, the hiking route that they were at. So they actually decided to send up an airship to look for them. They managed to signal them using their flashlight and a glow stick, doing a wagon wheel technique that I learned in the Marine Corps for signaling helicopters as they come in, and was able to reach out to them on the PA, tell them, hey, you know what, stay right where you're at. We'll have search and rescue come to you first thing in the morning. From Sweden, I had a hunter that had been following me for a while. Him and his brother are hunting. They got hit by a storm, couldn't get a fire going to save their life because everything was wet, started snowing. And then what they did was, because of the fact that they were next to a river that flowed into a lake, grabbed a bunch of cattail, got a nice little bundle going, got a fire going with some hand sanitizer from a post that I had done, and it was able to keep the fire going. They even used some of the insulation from the cat's tail and some other leaves to get some insulation between the ground and the little blanket rolls that they had, and made it through the night. I had somebody after one of my first aid kit posts that I do every 6 months. I do a major, if you've got first aid kits, go through everything top to bottom, over the counter medications, look at your bandages, see what needs to be thrown away, what needs to be replaced, restocked. And between those posts and posts on Stop a Bleed with a tourniquet, had a follower that was chopping wood and the axe went right into their leg. So they tried bandaging it up, slapped on the tourniquet, called 911, calling their wife to get them. And the doctor had said that because of the fact that they had bandaged it up, got it well packed, and then threw on the tourniquet, that they were able to save their leg and didn't bleed out. So when I hear stuff like that, that's what all this was initially about. I've had people that have been stuck in off-road situations where I've shown how to make a quick little marker panel that you could be seen from the air, and I've done several posts on it. They got lost from their convoy, and one of the guys in their vehicle went up to a higher point with the binoculars. Because of their vehicle was a tan color, and this is out in the desert, they're able to see the orange marker panel. They're able to get to that. So, when I hear stuff like that, that's what all this is about. If I can help one person, some of the other stuff that's come from it, companies reaching out to me, wanting me to review something, becoming a product ambassador, those are great. But when I get someone that actually tells me something I did help them, that's initially what this was all about, and it's still what it's about.
Well, I'm happy you were able to, help out people and such. Oh, sorry about that. I'm happy you're able to help out so many people, and I hope you continue what you're doing along down the road. And it's a lot. It's a lot to take on. Do you sometimes feel it's your job, it's your goal to help these people out and try to reach as many people as you could?
Yeah, it's pretty much the way I was raised. My dad was born in the 20s, a kid of the Depression era. All my uncles, World War II, cousins, Korea, Vietnam. So, my dad was pretty old when I was born. So I was raised under that. You help your neighbors, you help people. You do what you can to help your community. So when I hear someone complaining about the environment, okay, you put a Facebook or an Instagram post, or you put a profile picture, but what are you actually doing?
Yeah.
Are you participating in a beach cleanup? Are you participating in a river cleanup? You're complaining about how people are leaving the mountains when you're driving up the mountains. Are you taking a trash bag and clearing around the trash bin and throwing it in there? Or even if you have the room, throw it in the back of your vehicle, take it down and dump it yourself? Or are you just going to complain about it?
That's
So
kind of, yeah, that's kind of how it is nowadays. Sadly, people complain but don't want to take action.
exactly. So it's whenever it's safe, I've pulled over for accidents. I've used my fire extinguisher for putting out small little fires from an accident. It's one of those, and I don't tell someone I'm with, whether it's my girlfriend or a friend, hey, thank you very much. Pass on the information to fire department, highway patrol, state highway patrol, go on. And, it's like, for as bad of a rep as people get in California, which I do plan on leaving the state in the next 2 or 3 years.
Me too.
It's funny when I'm in another state helping somebody out. Their vehicle goes off the side because they didn't have tires rated for driving on ice and snow. And here I am, getting them out of the side of the road, out of a ditch, rendering some first aid. They see the California plates and it's like, hey, you know what? There are some of us that definitely are out there. We are some of the good ones out there that are actually trying to help other people do good. And, with that, I've definitely made some good friends over the years, whether it's from Instagram, people that I've met over the years at national parks, SHOT Show convention, what have you. So it's definitely been a great journey.
So I seen you with a couple organizations. You were teaching classes, but do you ever yourself plan on teaching classes like just under your name in person or online?
I do. I've been wanting to do it for a few years. The problem is a lot of times timing. I've had a couple, injuries, health issues that I've got past. And now that I got past them and, as I'm going to do this, this is the year, the virus hits, shut everything down, shut all the opportunities. A lot of classes weren't being taught. And then for the ones who were, manpower issues. We've been short staffed since March of 2020, and so trying to get into some of these classes have been extremely difficult, and asking for the time off to get the certifications to teach so that I could do it on my own. So usually what happens is I've had off-road groups or someone local reach out to me, hey, do you mind teaching a class? And I'm always honored that they do, and when they do ask. There are definitely some great instructors out there that I've known even within my local area, that are certified trainers. These are guys that I knew in the Marine Corps or through mutual friends, and one day hope to be on that same level to where I've got the credentials. I was going through EMT schooling, so this, with the virus, got to get the jab. So we'll see where it goes with that, because the goal with the EMT school, not renting a rig every day, for 15 to 20 bucks an hour, but having the EMT certification, I could work on the range with firearms instructors that I know, So if something happens, and then extend that to stop the bleed training, wilderness and first aid, survival training. So this way, in survival, everyone sort of has um, the TV show. I don't want to mention any names or any specific channels, but this sort of glamorous running down, rocky hills, jumping off of cliffs and all that. And, you just got your knife and nothing else. And, they don't realize the potential hazards, the potential safety issues that go with that, spraining or breaking an ankle, breaking your back. I mean, I've been on solo hikes where I've slipped and fell on my back, busted my elbow open, having to patch it up, and trying to make my way back injured. So, along with survival training, whether it be a mountainous environment, a regular wooded environment, or the desert, that push for the first aid side of it as well is very important. Because if you're injured, all the survival training that you have, unless you have that first aid training,
If,
you start bleeding out, there's not much you're going to be able to do.
if you don't know how to apply a tourniquet,
Yeah.
you're pretty much just going to be sitting there.
Yeah, and I've done those posts as well. I've had bone sprains while I was out there. I actually fractured an ankle, not even knowing about it until almost 48 hours later, just tightening up the boot. And as soon as I was able to get back, had to be pushed and bullied into, hey, go to the hospital. It could be a fracture. No, I think it's a sprain. So you never know. And, it was a fracture. So for a month, wearing a boot.
Oh, yeah, it sucks. So for people who are just getting into like training on survival, what would you tell them? What would your advice be?
Um, Definitely do research into the gear and the equipment you have. It doesn't have to be the top notch, most expensive stuff out there. I started off with some of the equipment that you'd pick up at Big Five and Walmart, some of the cheaper stuff as I was learning. Um, Learning which sleeping bags work, which ones don't, for different environments. But, learn from others. With Instagram, you could pretty much do a hashtag, and, once you scroll through the countless copies of pages that are using all the same internet stuff, that the same pictures that everybody else is using, where they're passing the information but don't actually know the information just so they can get the followers and the views. Which, that's sort of a double-edged sword in how I said that. But, they're passing the information on out there. The problem is some of them don't have the answer. They'll post, hey, this is how you purify water. But then when people start asking them questions, they really don't know. They're just sharing the same stuff that's, been going around the internet for years.
Yeah.
Or, for the ones who do, there are some outstanding people that I've followed me. Some of them we don't follow each other. But have some great respect for, because they know their stuff. I've had people that don't even follow me. Someone will ask a question, they'll mention my name, saying, that sounds more like Bushcraft and Prepping, go reach out to him. And I'll do the same thing. I've had TV shows reach out to me and ask me if I want to be on a show. If I can't do it because of the time constraints, my work won't let me, I can mention at least, 20 people that either I follow, or even if I don't follow them, know them, and I know well enough that they would do great on it. So there's a great community within this for the people who actually do post, and actually communicate with each other. And some of them are just Instagram where it's a picture. Some people are doing videos, YouTubes. For over the years, I've done well enough with pictures, but I've had companies that want to work with me, tell me you need to do videos. So also I've had people tell me, can you do a video to show me, because just a picture doesn't help. So I'm trying to expand that. I'm telling people, you know, be patient with me as I'm learning video editing, learning how to talk while doing the camera stuff. So it's definitely a journey. And but I tell them, any of the equipment you have, any of the gear, any of the tech that you have, use it in your yard at home. Yeah, if you have a tent, set it up in your front yard, your backyard. Um, for the people who live in apartments, if you have the room, set it up in your front room or your kitchen. If not, go to a campground, go to a park, set it up somewhere where you're within driving distance. If something happens, you don't have to worry about it. Learn how to do a fire in your backyard, you know, in a controlled environment, whether it's a fire pit, on the concrete, if you have a little open patch, learn how to use that ferro rod, learn how to use matches. For as funny as that sounds, I've actually watched people go through a book of matches and not get a fire going. You know, learn how to use your knife, learn how to sharpen it before you actually need it. Watch plenty of videos on how to use a hatchet, how to use an axe, because if you use it the wrong way, so much potential for injuries. I've been using a hatchet since I was a kid, and the day before I was teaching that desert survival class, mine's pretty sharp. You can't really see it, but sharp enough to cut my finger open. So right then and there, I'm having to patch it up, put a Band-Aid on it while I'm setting up my tent, because I use the hatchet as a hammer, instead of actually getting a hammer to set up a brand new tent that I had for a company that I just joined as a product ambassador. So injuries can happen anywhere, especially during the summertime. You've got mosquitoes and flies and everything else. The wintertime, you're just sort of opening the potential for, cold weather injuries. So learn that stuff at home, learn it in a controlled environment before you go out into the wild and do that stuff. That's what I've been telling people for years. Learn at home or a controlled environment. Once you learn how to do all that stuff there, especially parents taking out their kids, nephews, godkids, whatever, you're going with a Boy Scout troop, Girl Scout troop, church group, whatever. If you can learn how to set it up at home, learn how to get a fire pit going at home before you go out into the wild, before you go out even to a campground, before you get out there, having that knowledge before you actually do it definitely empowers you. It's a great feeling when other people see that you actually know how to do it instead of struggling to do it. It just makes life a lot easier.
Lots. Could you tell us, so I've been waiting for this question. Could you tell us a little bit more about what your role is in a SHOT Show this year? Congratulations, by the way.
No problem. I've been going for about the last 10 years. I've been a buyer for a few different companies. So when I'd go to SHOT Show, I'd be looking for different items. One company I was there was a Department of Defense buyer. So, I look for equipment and things like that. Things that could help with the DoD and even on the civilian contract side for equipment. When things started drawing down, started working for a company that sent me out there to look for security items. They're a company based out of California, and they did everything from the uniform security side to loss prevention, bodyguard work, and investigations. So with all that different stuff, I'd go to SHOT Show looking for body armor equipment, surveillance equipment, some of the newest tech. So that way, when they couldn't make it, I'd go in their place, or I'd go with them. We sort of split up. After that, working for a company that was based out of California at the time, that would get companies from other states to try to work with California, despite all the restrictions and some people's concerns with dealing with California. So I'd try to work with these companies. Fast forward 2020, I worked with a media company by the name of Mill Media, and they cover everything from airsoft, firearms, outdoors. Um, and so they bring the information that comes out from SHOT Show and other events, other things that they do, um, to YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. And when I was thinking I was going to take a year off of it, I was asked if I'd be interested in going through a mutual friend. So having my years of attending, knowing the layout of SHOT Show, knowing many companies out there, I'd be able to reach out to them, get the interviews going, so help them out. 2021 hits. It was going to be my first year doing the media range day that everybody in the media looks forward to. It was canceled. So 2022, I will be going again, interviewing companies for new products. And my side of it will be anything from the firearm side to knives, survival equipment, first aid, just pretty much multiple different faceted areas. Pretty much like with my Instagram page, I don't focus on one topic. I'm sort of all over the place, different areas of survival, different areas of emergency preparedness, prepping. So I'll be interviewing those companies out there for new products that they have, as well as attending the media range day, as long as it's not canceled.
Awesome. Well, let's hope it's not canceled, because I've seen the videos from 2 years ago and it looked awesome.
Yeah, it definitely is. And, some great people that I've known over the years, and getting to see them is like, seeing that friend that you only get to see once or twice a year because they either live so far away or they're so busy. So it's the opportunity to catch up.
Definitely. Well, so before we end this interview, because I ran out of questions, do you have anything else that you would like to say to, your viewers or my viewers?
I greatly appreciate the time. Not really used to doing this because of, over the years I've sort of laid low, even posting pictures of myself. It was sort of just the content. And then eventually, some pictures of me started popping up into the feed. And, so the people that have supported me over the years, it's definitely been a great run, and enjoyed it. Enjoy sharing the content, whether it's a road trip, time at the range, camping, hiking, showing all the different areas of the national parks that I go to, pictures of the animals that I see in the wild, sharing good information. So, if anyone wants to, I've got Instagram, I've got YouTube, Facebook, even set up a TikTok at the request of a couple of companies I work with. So if you search Bushcraft and Prepping, that's where I'm at.
And I'm going to be leaving his links below. All that stuff that I just listed, Instagram, Facebook, will all be down below in the comment, next to the comments. I'm so happy to have you on the show. I can see your company just going so far, and I can't wait to do your classes. I'm definitely going to come to your classes, and you're just doing great things out here.
I greatly appreciate it.
All right, guys. Well, this is Sam from Bushcraft and Prepping, and give him a follow, give him a like, go check his stuff out. We're so happy to have him. Everybody have a good day. Thank you for watching the video.